In today's Leeds news, team of the week, Leeds receive formal apology, strange manager claim, no McAtee for Leeds, Barry latest and Loney's score. Morning folks, Jay here on Monday morning the 23rd of December with your Leeds United news. This is probably the second last Christmas news of the week. There will be a news video tomorrow before taking a break on Christmas Day and Stephen's Day in Ireland, or Boxing Day in the UK. So just to give you an update on that, there will be a match review from the Oxford game the weekend later on tonight, 7 p.m. on the channel live. You can check that out. And we did our first watch along on Saturday over on the Big Up platform. You can check that one out if you want a bit of fun. And thanks to everyone who dropped in to keep me company in that one as well. So thanks for that. There's a little bit of news to get into, but some of it's pretty lighthearted, and we'll take this one lighthearted. Everyone got very serious on Friday about some of the news, which doesn't come from me, comes from other sources. So we're a little bit more lighthearted today, but we'll start off with some good news for some Leeds players. After a good performance at the weekend, 3 Leeds United players have been named in one of the teams of the week this week. Jayden Bogle, Dan James and Manor Solomon all appear in the SofaScore team of the week this week. And Brendan Aronson unlucky to miss out with a goal and assist in what was a very good performance from him in that game as well. Probably Leeds' best performance of the season against a side that you would expect Leeds United to have a top performance to get. I said 5-0, we got 4-0. It could have been 5. It very easily could have been. Largy Ramazani could have had a couple. Dan James could have had one more. Joel Piru could have had a few. But all chipping in, and we got the goal. But fantastic performance again from the Leeds United wide men and fullbacks, contributing to the Leeds United scoreline. So well done to them. Moving on to a story that started off last week when Daniel Farke was asked if he had received an apology letter from the PGMOL in relation to the performance of referee John Busby in the game against Preston. Farke at that point said he hadn't received any such apology letter and that he wasn't expecting to. Well, it has finally appeared. Leeds United have now received a formal apology from the PGMOL relating to the incident from John Busby when he failed to discipline Ben Whiteman on a challenge on Jayden Bogle, which would have resulted in the dismissal of Ben Whiteman, who had just previously been booked for a tackle on Brendan Aronson. 2 yellow cards were the likely outcome. You could argue the tackle itself was a red card. The apology doesn't change the result of the game, and in truth, Leeds United probably need to make sure they win games and not be relying on a referee decision to aid them in that. But this decision came at a very big moment and was a very big mistake that could have changed the fortunes of Leeds United in that game. It's taken 9 days for a response from the PGMOL to this, but they have now written the formal letter. It will go into the stack along with the rest of the ones that Daniel Farke received last year, and it'll be interesting to see how long it is before we see John Busby rock up at Ellen Road or take charge of a Leeds United game again this season, but we'll keep an eye on that. Moving on to some of the lighthearted stuff I talked about, and this is, I suppose, just because it's Christmas news, but a strange claim has come out of Germany this weekend, and in some unusual news related to Leeds United or Leeds adjacent news. It'll make sense in a minute. A manager in Germany has suggested he wants to manage Leeds United. German coach Timo Hilbrenner has suggested a willingness to manage Leeds United when speaking to German publication Neue Westfälische. The names of the German stuff, I really struggle with them, so I'm apologising if I've gotten them very wrong. The newspaper claims that Hilbrenner will leave German side Herzebrocker at the end of the season after spending 3 years at the club. Hilbrenner said the following when he was speaking to the publication. On one hand, my job is my priority, and on the other hand, I want to have more time for private things, unless Leeds United call. It was a strange way to finish the sentence, and it has been taken with some humour in Germany around the coach, and he is expected to take a sabbatical from the game once his time finishes at the end of this season. But it's just a very unusual decision. We've heard players this year out of nowhere just say they want to come and play for Leeds, and now we have a manager who says he wants to come and manage Leeds. So, you know, Leeds United, not a big club, and yet people are still talking about us down even in the lower leagues in Germany. So yeah, funny story, thought I'd include it because I saw it popping around, but yeah, there we go. Moving on to some transfer news, or I suppose bad news on the transfer front, and this one relates to Leeds United's search for a number 10, and it would seem as though any hope of Leeds United bringing in Manchester City attacker James McAtee in January is now all but gone after comments made by Pep Guardiola about the youngster's future. Angus Kinnear revealed in the summer that Leeds had got interest in James McAtee and did approach Manchester City for the player. Pep Guardiola was keen to keep McAtee as part of his squad this season. Talked about how neat and tidy the player is in tight situations and how that could benefit Manchester City in certain games. There was a belief that Manchester City's position on the player had softened after a lack of minutes for the player in the Premier League this season. He's played very, very few minutes in the Premier League at all this year, and a move to Leeds United could open up once the January window opened. Pep himself has said the following about the player's future. Leave No, I don't think so. It'll be the end of the season. It depends on how all of us perform. Now is not a reality. We will see the situation at the end of the season. So it's pretty much poured cold water any hope Leeds have of bringing in McAtee, Guardiola under pressure at City at the moment, having a pretty poor season by their own standards. McAtee is part of that squad, and Guardiola doesn't appear to want to break that squad up just yet. And if Leeds are to bring him in, it looks like it could be a promotion player for Leeds United should Leeds win promotion back to the Premier League. And then James McAtee is possibly a likely player that Leeds should go after. He had a very good time at Sheffield United as well. So not for now. Leeds been linked with Emi Buendia as well, but number 10 will be the question mark over the January transfer window. Do Leeds bring in a number 10, or do they focus on number 9, or what areas will they focus on? One player that has been mentioned with Leeds quite a lot over the last couple of weeks, and some movement on this story as well, and that's Louie Barry. Leeds have been credited with an interest in the Aston Villa attacker Louie Barry, who has been on loan at Stockport County. A few weeks ago it was suggested that Aston Villa could cancel the loan of Louie Barry, bring him back to the club, and then loan him out to a championship club to continue his development at a higher level. A lot of people, even in the chat on this channel, basically said that wouldn't happen, but it has happened now, and Louie Barry has been recalled by Aston Villa and is expected to go out on loan to a championship club. Joe Gelhardt and Patrick Bamford have been the subject of transfer speculation away from Leeds United in January, with Joe Gelhardt continually being linked with a move to Glasgow Rangers and not being involved in a Leeds United matchday squad since the Bristol City game. Pat Bamford last week was linked with moves to Wrexham and Genoa, and there are other clubs named as being interested in a move for the Leeds United striker, who again didn't come off the bench this weekend against Oxford. So if Leeds are letting those players go, the belief is that Leeds will bring somebody in to replace them. The Daily Mail have also stated last week, and they have a pretty good track record at the moment when it comes to Leeds news, they state that Leeds will look to bring in an attacker in the January transfer window. Whether that's a 9 or a 10 remains to be seen. But as I said, Aston Villa have recalled Louie Barry, and he is expected to go out on loan to a championship club, with Leeds United, Middlesbrough and Sunderland all being named as 3 clubs with a keen interest in the player. Leeds will be going up against 2 other promotion hopefuls in this move. Barry has scored 15 goals in 22 games for Stockport County and isn't even primarily a striker. He's more of a wide attacker. But he also got 2 assists at the weekend, and he could be seen as someone that could add a different type of attacker to Leeds' attacking options. Maybe a 10, maybe as an inside 10, maybe as a narrow wide player, but Leeds have plenty of wingers, so he wouldn't be coming in. And this season, he pretty much hasn't played for Stockport County as a winger. He's played as a striker. So, yeah, if he does come in, it'll likely be as a striker. But Daniel Farke has said that Leeds United will not be doing any business in the January transfer window until at least after the 4th of January, when the FA Cup game is out of the way. We'll see how it goes then. Leeds, having said that, be planning a quiet enough January, but Daniel Farke has had some interesting comments recently talking about being awake and being ready and having money to spend in January, as well as refusing to pour cold water on a marquee signing coming in January, which was asked him as well. So it could be an interesting transfer window. I don't think it'll be very busy, but I think it'll be a very noisy transfer window, but we'll have to wait and see. And then finally today, just to wrap it up, some good news from some Leeds United loanees over the course of the weekend. Darko JB and Sonny Perkins continued their positive seasons out on loan away from Leeds United. Perkins scored again for Leyton Orient in their game at the weekend, has continued a really, really strong run of form for himself. And Darko JB scored his first ever senior goal for Plymouth in their 3-3 draw with Middlesbrough at the weekend. The celebrations were everything you need to see from a footballer. It meant that much to him. Incredible celebration by Darko JB. Delighted for him to get his first ever senior goal. He's having a good season. And remember, he will come back to Leeds at the end of the season. Perkins less likely. But JB, his development is going quite well, and if he does come back to Leeds and Leeds do get promoted, you would expect Leeds would loan him out to a higher championship club next season to continue his development and see where if they can get the value for the $5 million they spent on him when they brought him in as part of the Calvin Phillips deal to Manchester City. But folks, that'll be it for me today. Massive thank you as always for supporting the channel. A massive happy Christmas to those who don't watch the live stuff. I'll get to everyone else later on, but just say a huge thank you for the support over the last 12 months, especially the last 6 months. Have a fantastic Christmas with your families and a new year, however you celebrate Christmas. Enjoy your time. I will be back tonight at 7 p.m. for the match review of Oxford, and I will see you for the news after Boxing Day and Stevens' Day. Have a great day. See ya. Bye.